New Zealand. Kiwis come in from the cold. After decades of playing hard to get, the fifth Five Eye is getting closer to America. On September 25th, the Aotearoa, one of just a handful of ships in the Royal New Zealand Navy, sailed through the Taiwan Strait alongside an Australian destroyer. The idea was to demonstrate to China that its claims to sole control of the waterway are invalid under international law. America does it several times a year, despite condemnations from China, sometimes with allies such as Canada. Australia does too. New Zealand has not made such a bold move since 2017. In an interview with The Economist, Christopher Luxon, New Zealand's Prime Minister, notes that as a small trading nation, New Zealand depends on freedom of navigation. All countries, he says, including China, need to adhere to international law. He plays down the voyage itself. He argues it was just the quickest way for the ship to sail from the East China Sea to the South China Sea. But the Aotearoa's transit underscores a big shift in New Zealand's foreign policy under Mr. Luxon, who took office at the head of a coalition government in November last year. His reset, as he calls it, has two elements. The first is a push to diversify New Zealand's diplomatic and trade relationships away from its reliance on China, which takes 27% of its exports. This is mostly uncontroversial. The second is to bring New Zealand into closer alignment with the other four countries in the Five Eyes, an agreement between America, Australia, Britain, Canada, and New Zealand to share intelligence. As part of that, Mr. Luxon is prepared to align New Zealand more closely with America than at any point since the two former allies went their separate ways in 1986. The latter change has provoked one of the most spirited debates in New Zealand on foreign policy since that time. New Zealand is the only Five Eyes country that is not an American ally. That is unlikely to change, at least on paper. America suspended its defense commitments to New Zealand under the ANZUS alliance in 1986 in response to a ban by New Zealand on nuclear weapons in its ports. Because America's Navy doesn't disclose which of its ships are carrying nukes, that made an alliance impossible.